Hey guys, welcome back to Gundam Build Guide. Now, this isn't the best week in Gundam Breaker Mobile, but despite that, there's some really cool shit we need to talk about. So let's go to normal Gundam news, where we need to discuss the Road to Gunpla battle project. Okay, so this is the biggest thing happening in Gundam World that we need to talk about. We all saw Gundam Breaker's Batlog, we all saw Gundam Build Try, we all saw Gundam Build Real, and that was all fun, but the big question has been looming, what if it ever happened for real? And here we are. It's been 10 years of Gundam series making spin-off anime where Gundam is just a toy that gets scanned to a VR game, and Bandai has suddenly taken aggressive steps to make this a reality. Hence, we now have the Road to Gunpla battle project. Now, this was officially announced about a week ago, and as it turns out, it's pretty much ready to go. There's going to be a major test event in Yokohama at the Gundam factory of the only system they have of this in real life. And so the fantasy of scanning your Gunpla to play a video game is now a reality. Because 3D printers led to 3D scanners, and 3D scanners have finally reached a level of expertise that Bandai has been able to create one single prototype 3D Gunpla scanner that only exists in Japan, and which apparently only works on really one kind of Gunpla. So Japanese Gunpla builders are being enticed to bring their own custom Gunpla units to this game and participate in it. The Gunpla will be scanned into the game, and then the game will be played. Now, there is an actual official website for this event, and a YouTube video explaining some more about it, but the YouTube video is region locked, and fuck, I can't watch it. Anyone want to help out? Anyone have a VPN? Do I need a VPN for this shit? Anyway, let me just read up on the rules, because that's the only thing I can see on the website, since that's what's left here. Now, the website lays down a shit ton of rules, and wow, like 70% of this website is just rules about what this event actually is and how this event is going to go down. So it says here that you need to travel to the Yokohama Gundam factory. The event is happening between March 6th until March 13th. The event is free to participate in. However, it does cost money to enter the Gundam factory. If you're above the age of 12, it's $17. If you're below, it's $11. You can get to the Gundam factory by a bus or a train, and scanning the Gundam into the Gundam scanner takes about 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes are over, you get your Gundam back, and then you have to wait about another 7 minutes for the scan to convert the Gundam into game data. Interestingly, the website emphasizes that you should try to customly paint your Gundam to test out the limits of the system, but also a heavily customized Gundam may not work right. Okay, then here's where it gets really dumb. Apparently, the list of Gundams that actually work for the event completely suck. It's almost all 1/144th scale RX-78-2 models, like the most 8 recent variations of it. The sole Gundam on this list that is not a 1/144th RX-78-2 is the Gundam Helios, also at 1/144th scale. Now, that's a weird choice because it's way stronger than the RX-78-2, but I get it. It's the main mascot of Gundam Breaker Mobile, so good for the Gundam Helios to get in, I guess. Now, the warnings also say that custom painted Gundams should work no problem. However, it warns that custom decals probably won't work. However, if the decals were sold with the original Gundam models, then they should work okay. It does say to make sure that you scan the rifle and the shield separately, and make sure the Gundam has its fist closed, as that will fuck up the scanner. Also, make sure the Gundam can move all its joints, because apparently this matters, although it doesn't specifically say why. It does specifically say, however, that do not block the connection hole to the action base that is underneath the Gundam's waist. I'm not sure what that's about, but I can see how people would probably have filled it in if it's never been used. Now, it also says that even though those are the RX-78-2s you should use, you could try to use one not listed in that list above. It though, however, cautions that if you scan it, it may not work properly, including the items equipped with it. Now, then it gets into a long list of rules and precautions. The Gundam factory staff takes no responsibility if the scanner damages your Gunpla. If there are too many people trying to use the scanner at once, they will use a lottery system to decide who gets to use it. If the scanner breaks randomly for any reason, even if you win the lottery during this time, you will lose your turn. Ouch, that's kind of cruel. You can only compete in the lottery once per day. Then there's some copyright bullshit here saying Bandai still owns the Gundams no matter how much you customize them. And lastly, Bandai reserves the right to keep the scan data from the Gunplas and may recycle the scan data for future advertising purposes to use in commercials, magazines, or any other advertising material that they see fit to make. And then there are additional warnings after that. The event can be canceled or changed with no prior notice. If too many people show up, they might be turned away because of COVID-19. If you're in preschool, you need to have your parents with you. Don't show up drunk. Don't smoke cigarettes indoors. Don't bring your dog. You can't participate in the event 2 days in a row, even if it's nighttime. If you get robbed by criminals, the Gundam factory takes no responsibility to help you. Excuse me? Because of COVID-19, if the Gundam factory is overly congested with people, you'll be asked to wait outside regardless of the weather. No illegal items, pictures of you will be taken and might be used for advertising, and all existing rules of the Gundam factory Yokohama are still in effect. And then after that, there's about 3 additional pages of rules for the event's COVID-19 policy, and everything there is pretty much business as usual for the pandemic, so I don't really feel like going over it. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and if you're sick, please don't come here. And that's everything on the website for the Road to Gunpla Battle project. All in all, it looks extremely curious right now. It looks like the scanner's working. It looks like they're worried that it's going to break. It looks like they don't give a shit if you get robbed or your Gundam breaks, but wow, that's a lot to think about, I guess. Okay, wow. All right, well, that was the biggest thing I had to go over this week. Oh, and one more thing I might mention while I'm still doing general Gundam news. I mentioned this in my Nintendo Direct reaction video the other day, but a new SD Gundam adventure game has been announced for the PS5/Switch. Typically, SD Gundam adventure games are pretty awesome, but so far, not enough has been announced about this new one to make me truly excited about it. Will I get it? Yeah, probably. But do I care right now? Nah, I don't. They haven't told me enough to make me really excited about it, so right now I just know it exists. Alright, anyway, let's talk about Gundam Breaker Mobile now. Now, this is not the best week the game has ever seen. Honestly, the drops this week are pretty crappy. To start things up, we have the S-Type Kshatriya, which to my extreme disgust, you cannot alter into Master Grade scale, because I was so psyched to pull on this because I thought we were finally getting the Master Grade scale Kshatriya. That would be the biggest unit in the game, but now we've been robbed. This is a complete waste. You guys can totally ignore this one. It's not that much different from the original Power Kshatriya. Oh, and speaking of which, if you want that one instead, there's a Xeon boss banner this week with like the Kshatriya, the Sinanju, and the Sinanju Stein. Once again, if you don't have any of these suits, Sinanju Stein is so worth it. Sinanju Stein is one of the best grenade units in the game, but yeah, everything here is kind of old hat at this point, so again, this is only here if you need these things. And anyway, on the other end of the aisle, that's another not good suit either. So the other big suit of the week is the Wing Zero Hono. The Wing Zero Hono is a melee-focused Wing Zero kit bash from Build Fighters. Now the Hono does look very cool. I do like the way it looks, and by some coincidence, if you already have yourself a melee Wing Zero build, then knock yourself out. This will be pretty good for your build. But yeah, you can definitely get some specialized parts out of the suit, but overall, it's not a good suit. It's legitimately the new weakest Wing Zero ever to be added to the game. It's a purple rarity suit, and in a few weeks, you can just get it from the 4-star redemption counter. So if you want to play the weekly mission, go right ahead, but it's not the best suit. Now, despite that, I pulled it like 7 times because I needed mark material, and I did think it looked cool. So yeah, I did 7 pulls on the Hono and 3 on the Kshatriya, and I put together a build of the week. Mostly focused on Kshatriya parts because the Kshatriya parts were slightly more interesting than the Hono. Like I said, the Hono just isn't there stat-wise, so as cool as it looks, it's like a skin suit. Anyway, after that, the charity suit of the week this week is pretty goddamn worthless. It's the Titans Mass Production Gundam Mark II, the Barzam. Now, the Barzam in this game is pretty much a just alright melee all-rounder. It looks like a turtle, it fights like one too. I have a lot of love for the Barzam because it's a very unique unit, but if I'm being real, I'm probably never going to touch it again after this week. There's like just nothing it's good at aside from looking weird. I at least managed to paint mine customly to, give it a decent, unique look, and it performed bravely in battle. Honestly, using it was like the most interesting thing about like having it this week. And yeah, that's the Barzam. Go Barzam! Anyway, so besides that, a new physical battle circuit dropped this week. The new battle circuit was pretty fun. I mean, physical's kind of a tricky tag. You need to use physical weapons. I mostly use physical melee builds to try and challenge myself, and I stumbled my way through it. Had some pretty hard but pretty insane battles, and I got some cool custom builds out of it. I used the Barbatoris legs more than I was expecting, and every time you take those out, it's pretty amusing, I gotta say. Lastly, rounding out the week, there's another new clan multi-mission banner in the mix, so I'm hoping my clan can get together around Friday or Saturday to knock it out. That'd be cool. Anyway, that's Gundam build guide for the week. Pretty non-eventful week aside from the Gundam build real thing being a real thing. Alright guys, well, thanks for tuning in, and once again, I'm only 200 subscribers from being 1,000 subscribers, so if I can get those 200 subscribers, that would be super freaking cool. I'm working on it. Okay, thank you guys, I'll see you next week. Good night.